What's good? You are listening and watching Daniel and Gian talk Game of Thrones, episode 6, season 7. And let me start off this episode by saying my prediction came true. In our Death Bowl, I called Thoros was going to be the only person of note dying in this episode, and he did. Let's just talk overall about the episode.
You didn't predict the other death in the episode, though. I can tell you that.
What, the two wildlings who I didn't even know their names are?
No, by Sirion, the fucking dragon.
Oh yeah, no. let's just
save that.
Yeah, let's save that. But overall, how'd you feel about this episode?
You know what? I liked it, and then when I started reading reviews, I was really surprised that people didn't like it. At least the critics, I should say. I actually felt like out of all the episodes, this one felt the least rushed, even though towards the end it was like all rushing. I don't know, at least in the beginning, like them walking and talking, you know, that your little Magnificent Seven, the Avengers, whatever the internet wants to call them. Those moments, those little character moments between each other, you know, you have Giant Bane talking about he hates the South, and Jon Snow's like, you never been to the South, and he's like, I've been to Winterfell, and basically it's like the same thing, you know, like it's these little jokes, but then you have more serious moments like Jorah and Jon Snow. Jon wanted to give him back his sword, but he's like, I lost that right to have my family sword. It's your sword. Like these little moments, like I actually thought Jorah was gonna die because of that scene, but then you get to the end where, yeah, some interesting, crazy shit happened, but at the same time, it's like, because there's so much stuff being packed into these episodes, you just have things that just don't make fucking sense.
For example,
well, first of all, Jon even going up north, period. Like beyond the wall. That shit makes no fucking sense. And because it made no sense, they ended up in the situation that they were in. But then you also have like, okay, the whole premise of that battle, like with Jon and all the other people, like being surrounded by the whites, right? The reason why they were able to survive is because the whites were able to like fall in the ice. Okay, clearly they can't swim, right? How the fuck did they pull the dragon out of the water at the end? If they can't fucking swim, how the fuck did they? Where the hell did they get these big ass chains from?
Okay, so here's my theory on that. We didn't see the White Walkers until Jon kind of like noticed them up on the hill, and we saw them. They just kept walking into the lake or whatever it was. They kept on walking and sinking in the lake, and then all of a sudden they stopped. Now you have to ask yourself, was that of their own volition, or is it the mind control of the White Walkers? So the White Walkers were able to stop them from dropping into the lake, and he's not agreeing with any of what's going on. So I think the White Walker control
forced them to go in the water.
Yeah, that they have that. It's just showing their power. I mean, that's
a stretch.
That's like a minute detail that you shouldn't be worrying about, because I don't think in the overall scheme of things it's a big deal. You know,
that shit didn't happen in the first few seasons though.
Well, we've seen the White Walkers 3 times. You know, 4 times.
I'm just saying though, like, but that's a problem, man. To me. Yes, you can overlook it by the awesomeness of the scene, by the impactfulness of the scene, and how revelatory it is, right? You can totally be distracted by it, but that doesn't make it fucking great. Like I said, I enjoyed the episode. I really did. I really, really did. But things like that stuck out to me. They just did.
Well, I mean,
the fact that they were
I just came up with an easy like explanation in 30 seconds right now.
Sure,
I haven't even been thinking about that scene. So,
but to me, I did.
If someone else wanted to develop that thought and to explain it to you, I'm sure they could do a way better job than I did, and like kind of get rid of that. Like I don't accept that one.
Deus Ex Benjen coming out of fucking nowhere to save Jon Snow. I mean, come on, man. And they're gonna send off Baratheon. Bastard Baratheon, and he's gonna run all the way to the fucking Eastwatch, and then they're gonna get a raven to fucking Daenerys, and then Daenerys is gonna fly in with dragons. Mind you, badass, 100% badass. So how the fuck did they survive days?
Well, that's the thing, is we never know how long it takes for a raven to get from the north to the south. We don't know how fast the dragons fly.
But
you know, that's just like,
okay, but let's.
I thought about that too. I was like, man, she got here pretty fucking fast.
Would you say it's at least a day?
At least a day for the raven?
Yeah. And the dragons.
Sure, man.
At least a day.
Sure. Yeah. I think at least a day. Yeah,
okay.
They were out there. Yeah.
They had no water, nothing, and they were fucking freezing.
Yeah. No, they definitely pushed the the suspension of disbelief in this episode. They push it to the brink of people's breaking down. You know what I mean? I'll give you that much.
And even it's to the point where if what happened wasn't as awesome as it was, we would have been like, this is stupid. I mean, it honestly took Dany flying up north for the very first time, mowing down all the whites with her dragon, and then her dragon getting killed for us to overlook that stupidity.
Fair enough. I mean, is it stupidity though? I don't know if it's stupidity.
Well, my thing is this. I feel like it's forced. They're forcing it to get it done.
It's definitely rushed. There's a lot of rush things. For example, everyone seemed to have a dragon glass weapon. We didn't see any of that get distributed. We don't know if they made them. Are those the same ones that Sam found? You know,
up north that one time?
Yeah, like where do those weapons come from? Or did Gendry make them for him? You know, we didn't see any of that. And I noticed they all had dragon glass weapons, you know, ready to go.
I started off negative, by the way. I guess I still like the episode, but just little things like that are starting to really rear their head out.
This is all rush stuff. If you want to complain about anything, it's that they could have taken and made this into a 10 episode season, but for whatever reason, they only wanted to do 7. And they could have fleshed out stuff like that. But, you know, we might be, let's say it was a 10, we were in a 10 episode season. This episode might have been just a lot of talking. We would have been complaining about the talking.
Each one of these episodes could have been their own season.
Right.
I really mean that too. Like each one of these, that's how much stuff's going on. I mean, it's like, it's not a plot hole, but it's like, if so much time is passing, again, we don't know truly, but if so much time is passing, where the fuck is, you know, Greyjoy with Cersei and stuff? Like, what they just disappear and fall off. Where's Bran?
That's actually like a storyline I'm worried about. Is Euron Greyjoy? Like, when is he going to come back? Because it's kind of like
he was just with Yara like 2 episodes ago. Like they were going to do something,
and we haven't seen him again.
Yeah. So it's like it's not a plot hole, but it's a fucking problem.
Okay. I mean,
I really think
I like the episode. I enjoyed it a lot. I was not expecting the dragon to die, and the second he died, I was like, oh shit. This is going to be a zombie dragon.
I thought Giant's Bane was going to die too.
Yeah, I thought he was going to die too.
I wish he did die.
That kind of bothered me because it just didn't seem in his character to be like, help me. And he said, help me, you know.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he said, help me.
I couldn't hear it. I was too distracted, I guess.
And then the Hound went and saved him. Like, I just don't see, like, I see him going down fighting. If he dies, he dies. He's not the kind of guy to, like.
Speaking of the Hound, man, the Hound, he gets the bitch award for this episode because I thought he was over the fire because he saw under the fire and all that shit. And then the fucking bear gets lit on fire. Basically, the Hound was responsible for killing Thoros 100% in my opinion because he couldn't fucking save the dude. He could have easily killed that bear. I mean, I don't know if he could have killed him, but he could have at least done something to like get him away. And then what also does the Hound do? He lets all the White Walkers know that the river froze over, or the little lake that they were on, because he decided like he's bored and I'm going to throw a rock at him, which I thought was funny. It's totally in his character, 100%. That's not bad writing. It's just like, come on, man. Come on, Clegane. Like, are they doing that? I don't know. I can go off in a million different directions, but I want to at least stay in the north. I mean,
now. Let's stick to the thematic elements of the episode. And I think it's like, finally, I feel like Daenerys is just done listening to anybody. And she said, fuck it, I'm gone. I'm going to go save this guy.
But not at the end of the episode. Do you still feel like she feels that way? I don't. I think everything just got real for her. Finally, like I feel like finally Dany got what was coming to her. Like her dragon dying was probably one of the most happiest moments I felt. Like I felt sad and like shitty that like fuck man, they killed a dragon. Easy too. Easy. He fucking has 100% accuracy. You posted a meme, like a javelin thrower, like Olympics meme, and I was like, fuck, dude, that's 100. I saw a baseball meme with Puig, like, with the fucking white, like, just gunning down, like, someone at home plate.
Right.
But it's just like, but everything's been so easy, and me and you have complained about it so much that, like, everything nice just happens her way. Even when the slaves not the slaves, but the slave owners rebel and all this stuff, the dragons can just come and save the day and blah, 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 right? And now that's not now the White Walkers, they have the fucking WMD on their hands.
Yeah.
A real one.
And I wasn't expecting that to happen. So now like this, it got
real.
Yeah. And it made things interesting now, like going forward next season, like what.
And I have a lot of predictions. Yeah. Probably save that to the end though, because I definitely have a lot of predictions. Like for whatever reason last night made me see the end game. Like I finally like this episode to me, because we've been talking about like, oh, it feels like we're in the home stretch. It feels like this episode to me was like, all right, we're here now. This is it. This is the home stretch. And I have my thing is, and you kind of alluded to this a few episodes ago, but I really feel like season 7 is season 7, and season 8 is really just season 7. Like I really feel like they wanted to just do a 13 episode season 7, but HBO was like, no, we need to milk this more.
Yeah,
because when you like, I don't know what's going to happen next week, but like let me put it this way. This felt like like episode 6 of a 10 episode season.
right.
Like there should be way more to go, and we're gonna wrap it all up next week. I don't think so. Like, so this is definitely, there's gonna be a cliffhanger next week, I think.
Absolutely, it has to be. I mean, they're meeting in King's Landing,
which I have a theory about that, but we'll get to that.
I want to see it's going to be exciting, but well, we mostly talked about the battle. Let's jump to. I mean, I feel like the interactions with Daenerys and Tyrion weren't really that big a deal. I mean, they
proposed good questions, but I feel like that's something that could have been explored throughout a full season, as opposed to like one fucking exposition filled dialogue scene.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's the 3rd episode in a row where they're having like
the same conversation.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, whatever.
Well, what do you think is going to happen to Tyrion?
I don't know, man.
Do you think she'll fucking hit him?
I'm not sure I like the way they're handling that whole thing, because it's just kind of.
I feel like Tyrion went to like this weird secondary character where he's not even a part of the story anymore.
Right.
And he went from like being a lead to like, because I mean, well, I guess I keep saying we'll talk about it later, but I personally feel like what's going to come into play next week is they're going to meet. Everyone's going to meet together, right? Because that's what the episode set up. They're going to meet in King's Landing with Cersei and Jaime and stuff like that. And I have this feeling that like Cersei's going to say like, I'll work with you to fight the White Walkers and shit like that. Like as a part of her ploy. But she's like, but my brother has to he has to like be sentenced for the crimes he committed against my father. You know what I mean? It's that type of situation. And then Tyrion's going to demand trial by combat. And then you're going to have the Hound versus the Mountain. But the thing is that I really feel like that's where you're going to get your Clegane Bowl, like to wrap up like a big moment for the season finale. But it's just like, if that happens, first of all, it doesn't make sense because King Tommen banished trial by combat. So, like, that's already the law of the land, unless she can unbanish it.
Well, they blew up the sparrows, though. There's no more sparrows.
But he issued it. It's the law of the land. It's a decree. Isn't that, like, the whole point of it? I mean, she's the queen. She can do whatever the fuck she wants, but I'm just saying.
Well, I think what he did was he reinstated these old rules that were there when the original sparrows.
I thought he banned trial by combat.
I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on this, but I think I remember it had to do with like the sparrows were in power like 200 years before.
They didn't want Cersei. They didn't want the Mountain to fight anybody, so they banned it.
He reinstated the rules of the sparrows.
The other thing is though, I don't see how Cersei's going to be impressed. Like, this is why I think it's stupid. I mean, Jon doesn't know this. No one knows this, but we do. But like, Cersei has a zombie already. Like, she's not going to see a white and be like, yeah, this is it. This is real. Because you have Qyburn saying like, okay, look at this big ass dude. What's your point?
Right.
I mean, the Mountain's a zombie.
For all intents and purposes, but you can command him. He seems to be, he's not mindless per se.
Maybe they messed up. I mean, these are arguments he could make. Like he has her ear.
And we haven't seen the Mountain with his helmet off yet. We have no idea what he really looks like. Does he look like his eyes are red? I know that they're not blue, like
the whites.
Yeah,
but I don't know. That's my theory for next week. Like I feel like that's something along those lines are going to happen because it's going to put Cersei in a position of power to where. Because let's be realistic, who's the only person in Westeros who has the ability to shoot down a dragon? Cersei.
Right.
So Cersei has to ally with them at some point, even if she's forced to or whatever. I mean, yeah, you could easily go steal that scorpion technology, whatever, but there's no time to waste.
Yeah.
Like, she needs the help, and you know what I mean? So it's just like, they kind of have to work together, and I feel like I think that's going to be the final outcome is like they're going to have to work together in some fucking weird way because you think about the implication of having a dragon, right? For the White Walkers. they can fly over the wall now. They can leave the army back up north. They don't need to worry about getting the army down fucking over the wall. They can go over the wall and just fucking start making more army down south. Like,
well, what about the enchantments that stop them from passing the wall?
I
think they have to go around the wall, but they haven't really like.
But see, to be honest with you, they very briefly touched upon that in the show. Like that's a book. That's more book like mythos coming into the show, which we've learned that not everything from the book translates to the show.
Yeah, but last time Benjen was on, speaking of Benjen, the last time he was on, he talked about that right. He can't go past the wall because of.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it wasn't talked about in the show. I'm just saying like, you know, it's very minute, and I it could happen though. You don't know. Maybe them having a dragon. I don't know. Maybe they could. I have no idea. Like, I'm just saying like. Them having a dragon opens up a whole realm of possibilities.
Absolutely, no. It's it's evening the playing fields for sure. It's just crazy.
As if like, and it's funny because we're. I don't know about you, but I was thinking like, all right, the show's gonna get to the point where Dany's finally gonna go up north because like she's gonna need all this convincing, and then the dragons are gonna come save the day. Like I feel like we were all thinking that like, at the end of the day, the dragons are just gonna burn everybody, and that's it. And we got that a whole season early, and we found out that no, that's not the case. But it also, okay.
That these White Walkers are smarter than you think.
I have two things I want to complain about, and then I'm done with all the Battle up North. I just thought about it. First thing, Drogon lands, right? Badass scene. Her entrance, Daenerys' entrance is cool, right? Her fucking Cruella de Vil ass costume wasn't cool, though. Like, I don't fucking understand how she has the time to, like, make all these fucking... What is this white shit she was wearing? Anyway, Jon Snow. Everyone else is on the fucking dragon. What does Jon Snow decide to do? I'm going to go kill all these extra whites for no reason. No reason.
No, I think he was trying to clear space so that they could get away safely. He was sacrificing himself.
Well, they didn't set that up then. I'm sorry, they didn't. They didn't have that hero moment. But that's one thing I didn't like, because basically him doing that caused the other dragon to get shot down. It caused like him to get trapped up north, blah, blah, blah. No,
the other dragon got shot down before he did that.
No, it didn't.
I think so.
No, it didn't.
I'm pretty sure.
It didn't. Because they left right after that. It didn't. But anyway, and if it did, it doesn't fucking matter. He shouldn't have done that. Regardless, he shouldn't have done that. The other thing that bothered me, why didn't, Dany wouldn't know, but like the White Walkers just stood up there the whole fucking time? Like, can you not target them or something? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, why didn't Dany get up and fucking go towards them and just burn them or send you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like they're always just sitting there on their horse.
She's never seen them. She has no idea what they look like, who they are, other than that cave drawing, you know? I mean,
the cool moment that I thought was going to happen is Jon was going to fucking go up there. But he doesn't.
Yeah, I thought he was going to make a rush towards them too, like at some point.
But they just sit on a horse, dude. Like, that really bothers me. It really bothers me that they didn't go down and fucking kick some ass. Like, I don't understand what their end game is. That's the thing. Like, do they not... Like, that's what I genuinely don't understand. Is like, they're obviously not trying to kill Jon Snow. They have no... Like, they seem to have no qualms with anybody. Like, they don't seem to have any motives. They don't have anything. And I hope we figure something out. Like, we need to learn something about them, other than that they were the first humans and now they're the first men or whatever. And
right.
But, like, what's their motivation?
I don't know, man. Because
they're not all... Like, clearly the Night's King can think.
Right. And that's something I actually read that people bring up with Benjen. You know how Benjen had that they put dragon glass in Benjen's heart to save him from completely converting.
Right.
And since he can talk and he's like
not anymore, he's dead.
Well, we don't know that actually, because he's still got White Walker He's still got White Walker. Like he might be sentient and be torn shred to shred, but you can't kill him without using dragon glass or Valerian steel as well. I mean,
maybe.
I doubt we see him again because I don't see him serving
that.
The purpose
and the showrunners basically said that like that was his last hurrah because he served his purpose, which is bringing both the Starks back.
Right.
But like, I mean, you honestly don't ever look at them and say like, "Fuck, man! Like, what's your point?"
No, I've been saying that. Like, they keep like alluding. We don't see the White Walkers. We open the season with White Walkers, and then we don't see them again. You know, and this whole thing is supposed to be about repeating a war that already happened that they lost. Like the White Walkers came down. They're the first winter. You know, when they keep saying winter is coming, they're talking about the White Walkers attacking again. You know, and they already had a war and they defeated the White Walkers with the children. You know, the children of the forest and the Targaryens, the original Targaryens. They already had that war, so this is like history repeating itself. But we haven't like. Nobody seems to give a shit except for Jon Snow, one, and then two.
And
We don't see and Sam where's Sam right now?
There's another fucking hole.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, man. I feel like we're just at that point where they're trying to wrap things up and they're just rushing stuff. So like stuff that we would like to see that they don't deem necessary.
Either will or we won't.
Yeah. If the showrunners don't deem it necessary, we're not gonna. There's gonna be a lot of questions, unanswered questions.
Which is sad because like the show kind of set it up for
is Tony alive? And if he's dead, who killed him?
Yeah.
Was it the guy that went to the bathroom?
We're talking about The Sopranos, by the way. You don't know. You don't know. But at least that was set up to be questioned. This was like just fucking like, we don't have enough time. We don't have enough whatever. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, man, like, I'm not saying I want to see a scene where, like, the White Walkers are, like, cooking a meal, talking shit. Like, I don't care about that. I just want to see some motivation behind it all anyway, because no one knows, except for George R. R. Martin and I guess the two showrunners, whatever, right? Because, like, they probably talked about what the whole, like, what they're, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe George R. R. Martin was like, I don't know, man. That's what it was before, and now they're here. Who fucking cares what they were? Like, because he could totally have that mindset of, like, not even bothering to care to set them up because they're just so evil.
Right.
But it's just like, I hope that's not it. I just really hope.
Nobody likes inherent evil.
Just because, I mean, even the fucking Nazis had motivation, man. Like, and I'm not talking about, like, let me, the Nazis in Indiana Jones and things like that. I'm not talking about the real life Nazis, but I'm just saying, like, even them being pure evil, they were trying to do something. They were trying to get, I'm trying to get the the Ark of the Covenant or whatever because I want this certain life or whatever. But they're Nazis. We know they're evil. They don't need to set it up that way, but like they do because it makes you relate to them a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, oh, maybe I would try to get like eternal life or something. Not saying I want to be a Nazi, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, definitely I get it.
But yeah, let's shift. We can shift to Winterfell if you want.
Let's finish. Let's finish on Winterfell because I thought that's another storyline. Like, where is this going? Like, when is Littlefinger going to get his comeuppance, if at all? You know?
I think he's going to die.
You think he's going to die?
Next week.
So I think that Arya is going to pretend to be Sansa to get Littlefinger to kind of.
But how is that going to happen?
Exactly.
Don't you have to kill her?
That's the thing I'm confused about. Like, does Arya have the capability to kill Sansa?
I think if she can confirm without a shadow of a doubt, like obviously that letter we know is fake. I'm not sure.
Well, it's a real letter, but it was a letter that was written.
It was an illegitimate letter, like she didn't actually write herself. But if let's say it was real for a second, just for like 100%, she wrote it of her own will, and Arya could find that out to be true. I think she might.
Okay.
Because I don't think, and she even said it, like I'm not going to put myself in the same situation that I was, like that my father was in, and all this, and Rob, and all this other, like she's seen it all. That's the fucked up part about it is, Arya doesn't know what Sansa's been through, and Sansa doesn't know what Arya's been through. So they're still looking at each other like the last time they saw each other 6 fucking seasons ago. Yeah. And so, I mean, and to be fair, I'm sorry, I might get hate for this, but Arya's been through way fucking more than Sansa has, in my opinion. At least in terms of like the world, experiencing how the world works. Like Sansa's been through traumatic events, being wed to Joffrey and then given to Tyrion and then like actually raped by Ramsay. But I mean, at the same time, like, is that the equivalent to like literally growing up with the Hound as a little fucking girl? Like literally, you have no like comfort in where you're gonna sleep at night, like. Going all the way to the other side of the world.
And she's had to kill people.
Exactly.
To survive.
She killed the Freys. Like, she's done all of this stuff. And I, personally, I just feel like that holds more weight. But the other side of that is it also blinds her from seeing, like,
the big picture.
That it's just her sister, and this is probably bullshit, because it's probably, I mean, they know, they're all suspect of Littlefinger, but it's like, I don't know, man.
I also found it telling that she got rid of Brienne on purpose.
Oh, Sansa?
Yeah.
Because Littlefinger told her to.
Right, but Brienne is like, she's on Littlefinger. She 100%. Knows. And she's like, why would you do that? Like, and Like, how is that going to play?
I don't know.
You know?
It's really weird that they even brought up Brienne, to be honest with you. Like, is that a way for her to be, like, up north to, like, I mean, excuse me, at King's Landing?
I feel like
for
that's Sansa in the back of her head thinking about possibly taking care of Arya.
See, that's what's fucked up about that is, like, Sansa should know that, like, out of everyone, Brienne should be right here at all times.
Yeah.
Regardless, even if Sansa wanted to kill her, why would you send off Brienne? Because Brienne's going to stop it. Fucking Littlefinger even said that shit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense to me unless Sansa wants to kill Arya.
Yeah. Fuck, man. It might happen next episode.
I don't know.
So it's an interesting little, I feel like it's still a subplot. You know, it's not the...
It is, but it's going to complicate things for everything else. And I think at the end of the day, that's what Game of Thrones is about. We all, as the audience member, know what the greater good is. We all know what should be done. Excuse me. But what happens? Politics get in the way. It prevents, like I said, Cersei is blinded by, like, I want to conquer the Westeros and blah blah blah. Dany was, but now she's not. At least it appears that way. But, like, people need to see the light, but not everyone does. A lot of people just think about themselves, and at the end of the day, like, that doesn't do good for the greater good, right? I mean, because they even talked about how, what was it in the walking scene up north? They were talking about how Ned was, or maybe it was Arya. I don't know. Someone mentioned how, like, Ned was a really good person, and then he died at the hands of an executioner. Like, the literal opposite of what you would expect to ever happen to Ned. That's exactly how he died.
Wasn't that north of the wall, though?
Yeah, that's what the conversation.
Yeah, and I mean, you were talking about Mance Rayder too.
Mance Rayder. There you go.
It was kind of like when Tormund was telling him, you know, when he was like, well, Mance was honorable. He wouldn't bend the knee, but
look how many people fucking died.
Yeah, look how many he died, and a bunch of other people died. And then somebody brought up his dad, like, you know, your dad was an honorable guy, but, you know,
he died. Exactly. Yeah, that's he died by his own people. Thank you for bringing. That's what I was thinking of. Like, that's the world of Game of Thrones right there. You do something admirable, you do something you believe in, and literally the opposite of what you would ever expect to happen to you happens. He loved the fucking Night's Watch, but he got fucking killed by all of them. Why? Because he was trying to do the right thing. Ned, same thing. Got executed for fucking... What was his crime? Like, what, for going against the king? Like,
yeah, well...
Conspiracy against the king?
Because instead of just going and arresting Cersei, he went and gave her a warning shot and told her, hey, you know what? You need to get out of here. I'm going to give you a chance. You and your kids, get the fuck out of Westeros so that you can live. Because I'm going to let everybody know that...
Robert was dead at that point, right?
Robert was dead. Robert had just died, but he was going to let Stannis know. Like, he sent word to Stannis. But he was basically saying, hey, you know what? I know your kids are illegitimate. They're incest babies. Which is fucked up. Because, like... Get out of here. And, like...
In any other movie, Cersei would have left. If Cersei were a weak woman, by quote-unquote a weak woman by Hollywood standards, she would, oh, okay. And then never to be seen again. And that's obviously why Cersei's an interesting character. Or at least was. I don't know about now. But... I don't know.
I mean, I'm surprised she's surviving this season. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen next episode, but I'm, like, surprised that she's made it this far. Like,
I know Jamie's surviving because Jamie fucking spilled. He's the one, whatever his name is. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's like, yeah, we started filming in October. We go back in October. Well, then that means he's not going to die.
No, I think he's safe. Well, let's wrap this up, man.
Let me see if I have anything else. I know we got to keep it tight this week. Let's see. I just want to make sure that I have everything because I did write some things.
We recorded a long podcast before this, so we're running out of memory here. So we're trying to wrap this up. So we got about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, no. I kind of said all this stuff because I was at the Ice Dragon, but yeah, that's
okay. Real quick, any death predictions for next week?
I think the Hound's gonna die. I think. No, I really think the Hound's gonna die. And what's his name? The dude with the flame sword. I think he's gonna die.
Beric Dondarrion.
Yeah, Beric's gonna die. I feel like Melisandre's gonna come back next season. She's gonna bring all the Lord of the Light followers. I think that's why she went over to the other side of the world.
Okay, my prediction is Arya kills Sansa, and pretends to be Sansa, and that leads to killing Littlefinger.
That's gonna be crazy.
I think that's my crazy prediction.
Because John's gonna come back home and
Yeah.
be like, "Where the fuck's Sansa?
And I think that's just gonna throw a wrench in a lot of shit.
Where the fuck are you, Bran? That's what I want to know.
Where are you, Bran? Why aren't you stopping any of this, you dick?
Do you think Bran's gonna take over the ice dragon? He's gonna warg into the ice dragon.
They haven't really discussed if you can warg into these undead creatures, so I don't know.
Well, if the Night King can do it, Bran can, because they say, and I know this is the last thing. I'll end on this. The White Walkers, as we know them today, were three-eyed raven type people who got turned into them.
Okay.
So, like, technically, Bran is a White Walker, just not dead.
Right. So he's a warg. They're
Basically.
wargs. Okay. Well, and that's going to do it, guys. If you like this, make sure to check out our other podcasts. You can click on the face. We're also on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Leave reviews. You know the drill. Subscribe, like, comment, let us know what you think, and we'll see you next week.